Yeah, hi everyone, we're just getting started, just getting Rami in. Shouldn't be too far. Rami, if you're out there. We should have him in a second. Okay, Rami, can you join? Apologies for the difficulties. Rami,
Hey,
how are you?
finally. Yeah, there's something wrong technically with Instagram. Yeah, I tried to join you a few times. It was not possible. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Now we are here.
Yep.
Sorry, I don't have a cable. Old school style. Yeah, all fine here. All fine. Pure summer, no masks outside.
Yes.
Face masks, yes. Well, if you keep let's say the distance between the people, you don't need to, I mean, you are allowed not to use the mask anymore. So that's fine for the moment. Let's see how this is going in the next weeks and days. But yeah, all fine, all fine. So today we have to talk about something which is really interesting, which, well, we were talking offline about it, and yeah, it's about credit cards and how, you know, how to use them, what they are, etc. I don't know if you want to start with, especially during the summertime, because, you know, Christmas, summertime, holidays, people are, you know, using credit cards a little bit more. Here in Europe, we are maybe a little bit more conservative about, you know, the credit cards as a tool, you know, but in the States, I think it's like your second ID, maybe the first ID to have a credit card.
Yeah.
So, well, first question is, what are they and how do they work? Because, you know, to understand the basics of all this will help the people, you know, to use them as a tool for their own benefit.
Yeah, sure. So credit cards they're a very a stealth way. They're very undercover thing, because when you spend money on a credit card, it's not as painful as handing physical money over to someone, right? It's just a number on a screen, and you don't feel that pain. So credit cards are basically like, it's like a temporary loan someone is giving you. The loan is usually a maximum of 55 days. You spend money on your credit card. They send you a statement at the end of the month. As long as you pay the full amount on the statement, you shouldn't get charged any interest, as long as you pay it by the due date. That's really what it is. If used well, they can be very helpful. And much like anything, if not used well, they can be very, very painful.
So what is about, to use it well?
Yeah, so to use it well means if you spend an amount of money on a credit card, you should make sure you pay it by the due date. Because generally speaking, if you don't pay it by the due date, you're going to get hit with an amount of interest. And the interest on credit cards is usually astronomical. It can be up to 25, 30%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So, if you spend an amount of money on a credit card and you don't have the money to pay it back, there's going to be trouble, financial trouble. So
yes.
you want to make sure you either can pay it back or you will be able to pay it back when the time comes.
Another question is, do we use do we have to use them? I mean, it's like a tool that it's like almost mandatory to use. You can avoid use the credit cards, because here, I mean, I have an example. Let's say in Germany, the behavior of the people using the credit card is completely different. They mostly use the credit card to buy some things online, like some let's say plane tickets or something like that, especially for that, not for the daily use. Here in Spain, it's also a little bit different, but how it is in the States is like, let's say, mandatory.
Yeah, so I know that in Germany, I know, and no offense to any Germans, they're very conservative when it comes to borrowing money. And it's in a way that's a good way to be. In the United States, it's very, very different. The society here is premised on the fact that you buy things with a credit card. You use a credit card here more than you would use cash. Right? So,
okay.
Do you have to use it? No, you don't have to use it. But, if you're ever planning on taking out a student loan, buying a house, doing anything that requires someone to check your credit history, a credit card is an essential tool to allow you to have a good score so you can do these things in the future.
Okay. So it's not like just having the credit card for, just for fun. I mean, just because I have one or because I can.
It's kind of like having a car in a way. Like different people have cars for different reasons. Some people like classic cars. Some people want to go fast. Some people use it purely as a mode of transport to get somewhere. A credit card is very similar. You can have a credit card for bragging rights. Some people love the fact that they have an elite credit card. Personally, I think that's a bit of a wanky thing to do. Like, you don't want a credit card for bragging rights. But if you have a credit card because you want to accumulate points, if you have a credit card because you might get paid on a commission basis, some months you get more, some months you get less, a credit card can help you kind of spread that out and even out your availability to sort of buy things.
You talked about you talk about something, and I want to give you want to make a few comments. Sure. There are now a kind of let's say popular new debit cards or prepaid cards, right? Because are attached to, let's say, Visa or MasterCard, it doesn't matter, but attached to, let's say, a cryptocurrency or some of these systems. Sometimes there are prepaid cards that, works like a credit cards somehow, etc., etc. What's your opinion about that? Because it looks like it's more simple to manage the money, but it's not a credit because you need to load the card with money, right?
Yeah, and it's a very good point. There's a sort of a key difference between a debit card or a credit card. A debit card is you are using your own money. You either have to put money on the card first, or when you use that card to buy something, money gets deducted from your account. A credit card is where you're actually borrowing money from someone and you'll pay it back at some time in the future. Are there pros and cons to both? I think it depends. If you're a disciplined person and you know you're going to pay things off before they're going to incur interest, credit card's a great thing. Some people struggle with alcohol. Some people struggle with food. Some people struggle with debt. If you're one of those people who can't pay stuff back on time, a credit card's probably not the best thing for you.
So let's say we have one of these people. I mean, let's say we have this problem, a discipline problem more than anything. Any tips to solve this or to start solving it?
Yeah, I think you can, you can use a debit card in that situation to practice, right? Because you're not going to be able to use a debit card unless you have money in your account. So you can kind of use it as a credit card. The other thing I would say is just be very, very aware. Check your statements regularly. Keep a spreadsheet to make sure you know where you're spending money, when things are due. That way, you're not going to miss your due dates. You're not going to get hit with interest. So, I think just summarizing, if you're not good with money, if you're not good with credit cards, that doesn't mean never get a credit card. You can do one of two things. You can not get a credit card, or you can get better with using it.
Right. What are the pros and the cons of using them? I mean, in your opinion, the main pros and cons about using a real credit card with real money inside, which is not your money at the end.
Yeah. I think one of the major pros is, one of the benefits is, you get points. Some of them offer cash back. You'll get 3%, 2%, whatever. Some, it's like getting a discount on everything you spend. Some give you points that you can use to redeem for other things. You could get a PlayStation, you could get a TV, whatever. Some of them have travel perks. You can get free travel insurance. That's what we were talking about last week. Free car insurance. They have what's called purchase price protection, which means if you buy something with the card, you see the same thing, cheaper within the next, say, 90 days. The credit card company will refund you the difference. So there are some really good perks with some credit cards. You have to be aware that some of the good perks will only come with cards where you pay an annual fee. Usually the higher the fee, the better the perks. So only pay the fee for a card if you're going to make use of the perks. If, there's some of the downsides are, people won't pay it back on time. If you don't pay it back on time, some cards have higher interest than others. So I guess it's a good point to make now. If you look on your credit card statement, you'll usually see two numbers on there at the end of each month. One will say statement balance, and one will say minimum payment. And I can't count the number of people I've come across who say, oh, as long as I pay the minimum payment, I'm good. If you pay the minimum payment, you're good. You're not going to be considered to have made a late payment, but you will still get charged a big chunk of interest. To make sure you don't get charged any interest, you must pay the statement balance in full before the due date.
Okay. So that is a kind of, let's talk about the system, how the system works. So, because that is one of the, let's say, tricks, because this is something that, let's say, the lender doesn't want you to know, actually, or maybe to practice, to put it in practice, like, paying the full amount, etc., because the business is to get benefits from the interests.
Exactly right. That's credit card companies, lenders, they're in this business to make money. And the biggest way you make money is by lending an amount. And if they don't pay it back on time, you get to charge them a big chunk interest. And someone just said 25%. Yes, it can be 25% on the amount that you owe. So let's work with a hypothetical. Let's say you have a balance of $1,000 at the end of the month. And let's say you get charged 25% interest on that $1,000. Roughly, the way the calculation works is 25% of 1,000 is $250. It's $250 interest for the year. So you take that 250 and then you divide that by 12 months. Roughly, it's going to be, say, $20 or $21.
Yes.
So every month you don't pay that $1,000, you'll get charged $20 or $21 interest. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but it accumulates and compounds very, very quickly.
Yes, yeah, makes sense. Because at the end of the year, if you make a calculation, maybe you pay your internet service with this money for the full year.
Definitely. So, in terms of how the system works, credit card companies, if they issue 100 credit cards, and even if, say, 5 of those people don't pay the full balance by the end of each month, they will be making enough money where the credit they lend to others it's basically free for them. Yeah.
Right.
So
yeah.
their goal is to give you money, and they lure you in with perks, etc. If you're disciplined and you use them well, you can get the benefit without getting hit. If you're not disciplined and you don't keep an eye on the detail, you'll get hit with interest.
So what's, just to understand a little bit deeper, about the system, how it works, what is your main advice to start, let's say, I don't know, understanding the basics for the people, to, what is necessary to apply, to put in practice, to let's say, to put the system working for your benefit, not all the time for the benefit of the lender.
Okay, yeah. So let's say you're 18 or 20, or you're a new immigrant to the US and you don't have a credit card. If you want to get a credit card, pick one that has the best perks, the best benefits, but that doesn't have an annual fee. Now,
okay,
I know, like, I don't recommend products, but I can say that I'm pretty certain that Capital One quicksilver, they give you 1.5% interest, 1.5% cash back on every amount that you spend.
Yes.
Citibank double rewards, that's a very similar situation as well. They give you 1% when you spend and 1% when you pay it back. Neither of those cards have an annual fee. So apply for a card like that, use it for your day-to-day expenses, pay it off in full at the end of every month, but be very aware. Every time you get a statement in the mail, make sure you know what the due date is, the minimum payment is, what the statement balance is, pay it in full, check the transactions, make sure that your card hasn't been used by someone unauthorized, or an extra amount was taken somewhere.
Or Netflix many times.
Yeah, that's right. And sometimes you sign up for something and you put your credit card number in and then you forget. Yeah. And even though you cancel the subscription, they keep charging you. I've seen people who are like, oh shit, I've been charged this amount for 2 years. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So it's always good practice to be in.
For, if you're a person that maybe you are not just paying attention to all these details, maybe it's a good option to have one of these prepaid cards, if you forget something.
Yeah, it is a good idea to have a prepaid card. Alternatively, what you can do is you can set notifications or reminders. Normally the credit card company, you can ask them to send you a text or an email to say, hey, your payment is due in 5 days time. Make sure you make it.
Yeah.
Put a reminder on your own calendar even, or on your phone.
Yeah, you're right. So what things should keep in mind when applying for a credit card, for example, if I want one, Like I said, not the start, not like a beginner, just, I don't know, I want something else better.
Yeah, so it's like anything. You think about where it is that you want to go, and then you reverse engineer it from there to work out the steps that you need, right? So let's say you want to get a credit card that has a huge limit, so you can go out and buy a car with it to get the points, for example.
Okay.
You might want to get a credit card that offers bigger limits than others. So Amex, for example, they offer what are called charge cards. Charge cards are kind of like credit cards, but they almost have no limit.
Okay.
Right? So you may want to start getting an American Express card, build up a bit of history with them, because American Express are the biggest issuers of charge cards. So it just depends what you want. Do you want to accumulate points for travel upgrades? Do you want to just get big cashback amounts? Do you want to establish a history with a certain bank? Whatever your goal is, work out what card you need to achieve that goal.
Can you explain a little bit what is a cashback payment for the people?
Okay, so yeah, they're called different things, but generally what happens is at the end of the month when you get a statement, let's say you spent $2,000. If you have a credit card that offers you 2% cash back, they will say you spent $2,000. This month you made $40 cash back, and it'll show up in your sort of rewards account, and you can decide, do you want to get the $40 cash in a check? Do you want it paid into your credit card? Do you want to use those cash rewards to buy something from Apple or whoever else they may have an affiliation with? It's like they're giving you free cash.
It means that sometimes you need more than one, because the loyalty programs are not the same, etc. Right? Reward programs.
Yeah, as you progress more through, the credit card sort of system and you get familiar with them, certain cards will be good to get you. You might get more points when you eat out, dining out. You might get more points on getting gas or spending money at the pharmacy or whatever else it may be. So you may want to get a card that rewards money being spent in a certain area. And if you spend a lot of money in that area, that card will be the right card for you.
Good, good. So any other tip that you can give to the audience regarding the credit cards in general, and especially during the summertime, that you are, the people are spending more money from, or using the credit cards a little bit more?
Yeah, don't be afraid to use your credit card. Just be aware. This is another situation where knowledge is power. Be aware of when amounts are due. Double check your transaction statements. Make sure that you haven't been overcharged, undercharged. You're getting the benefits that you're meant to get. And, take full advantage of what the credit card issuer has to offer. Amex is very good at this. So say Bank of America, where you can say, look at my rewards basically, and it'll tell you, it'll be like, use your card here, you get this discount, you qualify for this, or you get points for that. Whatever it is, take full advantage of it. Make a note so that when you do travel, when you do shop somewhere, you use the right card to get the most reward.
So it's about discipline at the end.
Yeah, it is. It's like going to the gym. It's like eating well. It's like everything. It's discipline, but before discipline, it's knowledge. You must know how these things work. You must know, how to make the most of them. And if you don't know, ask somebody who does. Jump online, send me a message.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of sources out there where lenders are hoping that people are just going to sort of automatically spend money. Really what you need to do is you need to be informed so you can get the most out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to ask exactly the number, but you use more than one credit card?
Yeah.
In your day-to-day life?
I do. Certainly I do. I
only use only one.
Yeah, and I think that's what you were saying before. It's kind of like it might be a European thing. This is a US thing. And some people are kind of confident in knowing as well, look, I'll remember dates or whatever. For me, I try and use credit cards in a way where if you buy things just after you receive a statement, you're going to have the maximum amount of time before you have to pay the statement off. And so I kind of time it. So if I know, like, I have to spend an amount of money, say tomorrow, whatever the date is tomorrow, if a statement closed on Friday, that's a card I'll use.
Yes. I know that trick.
Yeah, you can really get timing benefits, because if someone's going to essentially lend you money for free, it's a great thing.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I think we are done for today. Okay. Very, very useful tips. I don't know what we will have the next week, but we will decide during the week. And we will communicate this and share this to the audience. Thank you so much, Umesh.
You're welcome.
For your help. And remember to the people that they can send any questions, direct messages, any kind of questions.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone has any questions, feel free to, you can DM me
about anything.
We can talk about it.
Not only credit cards.
Yeah, anything. I'm happy to give information, just give you a bit of advice for free. Feel free to contact me.
Okay. Yeah. I wish you a very, very, very good week.
Likewise.
Full of blessings. And talk to you in a few days.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks, Rami. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, bye. Peace.
Bye.
Ciao.